Ooh, welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Kerry Yates, and she is a producer on 13 Fanboy. Hey, Kerry, how are you doing?
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Scotty.
Christmas.
Yes, it's got the festive sweater on with skulls on it, and it has to be done. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. So the first question I want to ask you is just so everybody has a general understanding of what we're really going to be talking about, which is 13 Fanboy. So can you let everybody know what is 13 Fanboy all about?
13 Fanboy is a star's worst nightmare where you get the hi, I'm so and so, I'm a big fan and stuff like that. And obviously they build up a relationship in their head. And when they stare at you on the screen, everyone says, "Oh, it can't happen." It does happen. There's plenty of history in Hollywood that this can happen. And then people, as I say, you get one a fan that takes it to the next level and the next level and the next level. And as I say, they become a fanboy in the worst possible way. And they think they've got a relationship with you and they think they own you. And they get this sort of like thing where they want to be in your life, and that you could be at a convention, you could have your photograph taken. They think that's love, and it isn't. It's sort of like fan, like say for instance, I have someone there. It's not. I'm being obviously you're interacting with that person, but they take it to the next level. And
Yeah.
13 Fanboy is, as I say, a star's worst. Not I've had stalkers, and I'm not even a a star. So for me, it wasn't nice.
Mm-hmm.
So for a star, it's emphasised because they are in
Yeah.
your living room on a day. They put the film on. To
Right.
them, they're in their living room on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like they build up this relationship,
Yeah.
and they think they own you. It's sort of like it's like me. I like stars. I watch their films. They don't owe me anything, but some
Mm-hmm.
fans think that they owe them because
Mm-hmm.
they do rent their movie, go to the cons, and
Mm-hmm.
go to and buy the DVDs, the
Mm-hmm.
merchandise, and people assume that
Yeah.
it's like it's, as I say, it's a star's
Yeah.
worst nightmares. That's the only way
Yeah.
to describe it.
Yep, and it's funny because like the thing is with the most I guess famous one in the horror industry is Adrian King, who played Alice Hardy in
Yeah.
Friday the 13th from in 1980 and Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yes.
So that's one of the most, I guess, talked about ones of
Yeah.
quote unquote fanboy stalking a star of a
Yeah.
big, a big movie. And of course, it also happened to actresses like Laura Park Lincoln and I believe Judy Arnson. I heard it happened to as well, where they got the
Yes.
stalkers, and it is a scary thing. And I know with Adrian, it came to the point that she had a gun to her head.
Yeah. And in the end, I think she had to pull out a fanboy because it was too
Yep.
close for comfort. So
Yeah, and I
too
completely
close.
understand that.
Well, all I know is my stalker,
Mhm.
um, ex family friend, ended up moving
Mm.
to one side near to where we lived at the
Wow,
time.
crazy.
And if it wasn't for my husband basically giving him a short, sharp keep away, or else we will involve the police, because I was 5 months
Mm.
pregnant with our middle son.
Mhm.
So yes, it's not nice. Let's see,
Yeah,
it's not
that's
nice,
insane.
and yes,
Yeah.
enough about me. As I say, I do see, but I could see where I was going. Oh, but it's so far fetched. Okay,
Hmm.
not it isn't. It
Yeah,
isn't. At the end of the day, you could sort of like say, "Oh, that was a nice cup of tea you made me, or coffee."
right.
They think it's the other. Oh, she likes my. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. And all of a sudden they've got a
Right.
relationship because you made them. So it
Yeah,
does
it's like an
happen.
invitation in, they feel. Yeah.
There's an invitation. Oh, can you make me another one? Or, oh, I've asked for an oh, you've got the autograph.
Right.
It's,
Yeah.
oh, you've got this, you've got this, you've got this. And next thing you know, you're married with 3 kids with them
Yeah.
in their heads.
Yeah.
And it is scary. So,
It really is. It really is.
and
So, how did you get involved with 13 Fanboy?
well, I am friends with Tamara Glenn from
Mm-hmm.
Halloween 5.
Mm-hmm.
And she's friends with Deborah, and they were just having a chat. As you do, scrolling on Facebook, and Deborah and her having a chat on hers, and they were talking about like the sheer horror group, and 13 Fanboy came up.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was in the process of moving home, so obviously I said, "Oh, jokingly to Deborah, I said, oh, do you take international donations?" And she goes, actually, we do. And then obviously I was moving, and trust me, we inherited a money pit. And I was like, priorities had to go to the money pit because we literally had no carpets and nothing. We were left with a shell. And sort of like, and then once I had some money, I turned around and I said, at the time I was pregnant with my daughter, and it was my 40th. And my husband goes, oh, do you want to do something later on in the year? Because I was heavily pregnant with Raven at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned around and said, actually, no, I don't want a party. I don't want, no offense, hypocritical people turning up for the free bar, the buffet, and not talk to me again for another 10 years, because
Right.
that's what happens nowadays. I said, you know what? It's true, isn't it? How many people generally want to be there because to see you and not the food you put on and the
Mm-hmm.
drink you put on? And I actually said to my husband, I said, do you know what? I said, before we moved to the house, before he was looking at, doing this film 13 Fanboy and stuff like that, he goes, oh, from Friday 13th series. And I went, yeah. And I turned around and I said to my husband, I said, I want to do something for Kerry because this is not a violin moment, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm a full-time caregiver. And you do give up a lot. But I said, this time I want to do something for me. And I looked at these credits, all the perks and everything. And I decided, and I said, oh, can I be associate producer 13 Fanboy for my 40th? And he went, so what do you want? I said, yeah, because I said, no offense, the party will come and go.
Mm-hmm.
I will not see those people again.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like something permanent.
Mm-hmm.
IMBD, that credit will always be there.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, I turned around and I just said, that's what I wanted. It was
Yeah.
my 40th birthday present to me.
Mm-hmm.
And, and in the end, it's sort of like my family's photograph is in it.
Yeah.
It's with Tracy Savage's family. Yes, so we've got our picture in it, and I ended up getting a character named after me as well. So
Nice.
yeah, so at the end of the day, I preferred that than I would have done someone going happy birthday
Right.
to you.
Yeah, and if you think about it, that movie is always going to be out there. It doesn't matter how I guess hard it would ever become to come across. Like that movie will always be made. It will always be out there at some point in some rhyme or reason. So your credit, your character's name, everything will be 100% there for all the time. Whereas you said the people
Exactly.
for your party you might not see again for another 10, 15 years.
Exactly. Then I had a selfish 5 minutes, and
All right.
I'm glad I had that selfish. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, we give up loads in this world, especially what with everything's going on.
Yeah.
But I know that I could put on 13 Fanboy. Kerry Yates is there because I know who she is now. I asked Deborah, I go, who's Kerry? I said, she went, oh, she's the one who hugged Dee in the scene at home. I'm not giving too much away. Just goes, people haven't. She went, oh right, and I went, yes, that one. So I see Kerry, and I see her, and there's me on screen, and then sort of like you see you see family's picture, and we even made it into the trailer.
Yeah.
And that was a remarkable moment, and
Awesome.
it's still I prefer to do stuff that, you know, we can look back on when we're older and go, look, there's us, and
Right.
not because you look at a family and it's, to me, that is more than blowing out 40 candles on the cake. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yes, you
So after
know,
you saw 13 Fanboy, what did you enjoy the most about it, and what did you enjoy the least about
do you know what what I enjoyed most about it was seeing Kane Hodder being Kane Hodder. It's
it?
sort of like he gets so I think typecast with the Jason character, with the
Mhm,
Hatchet character. It was nice seeing Kane
mhm.
Hodder being Kane Hodder, and I hope
Yeah.
and pray people, you know, directors, film, you know, producers, look at that and say, actually, Kane can do that.
Mhm.
Because I looked and I went, his scene, you know, I looked scenes and I was like, the human Kane.
Right.
So I think everyone sees Kane as machete in one and sort of like blood, and I
Yeah.
think, yeah, that was my, you know, one
Yeah.
of the good scenes, you know.
Yeah, I like that too.
It's not a, you know, scene, but it's sort of like, you know, I
Right.
sat there and that is it, you know, if you get what I
Exactly.
mean.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it was nice, and it also sort of like when I watched it with my son Dylan,
Hmm.
he sort of like said, "Oh, that's Kane Hodder," and I went, "Yes." I was expecting him all dressed up. I went, "He's playing Kane in this, not Jason Voorhees."
Hmm.
So it was actually nice to see that, you know, that side of him, and I
Yeah.
hope and pray others do, and then you hope and pray that he gets all parts like it because he
Hmm.
deserves it, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
What about the least? What did you I guess not like the most about it?
The least I think. Oh, I'm trying to think actually. I
Being
don't
the hot seat.
know. The least. I think it. I don't, oh, I think they could have done a longer sort of like con scene. You know, a
Yeah.
bit more. Yeah, it's sort of like you could have done a longer con, possibly. You know,
Hmm.
just sort of like see the, you know, more sort of like the
Yeah.
interaction, because it could give you more and more people to look at and go,
Yeah.
possibly, 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 and
Yeah.
stuff like that, if that makes any sense. You know,
Yeah,
just
I
sitting
agree with
there,
that.
because, you know, you got people, you're going, is it her? Is it him? Is it them? It's, you never know, because, you know,
Right.
you've got the Scream franchise where you've got double bubble serial killers.
Yep.
So, you know, I think it would have been possibly, and, you know, possibly someone getting arrested in that scene, you know, going over,
Yeah.
and then the security, and they take them away, and there's
Yeah.
another possibility.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Absolutely.
I could be rewriting a sequel here. You never know.
Yeah,
Yes, I'd like to ask
hey.
Deborah any credits. Sort of like Kerry Yates.
So I know you're part of the indie horror community. So I guess what do you love the most about this community?
I think it's one of the most genuine communities out.
Hmm.
It's sort of like, if you have a problem, they're there for you.
Hmm.
It's sort of like they're there, you know. It's like I've had a couple of issues, and I'll
Right.
tell you what, they've all been there and stuck up for me.
Hmm.
You know, they're always there. It's one of the, I said, I know I call it horror family. It's sort of like, because they are family.
Hmm.
It you know, we're
Yeah.
not all a bunch of psychos, you know, rocking in
Hmm.
chairs. We love horror, and we're all nice, genuine people with it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, it's, you want the genuine, you know.
Hmm.
I've had 5 a.m. conversations with some of them
Hmm.
because, you know, one of my kids is up poorly or
Right.
something. And you're sitting there, you're going, oh, shit. And we're in a long chat about, you know, this, that, and the other. And you
Yeah.
sit there, and it's the most genuine, you know, it's like someone, when I had a recent problem personally,
Right.
the amount of phone calls I had from the horror community
Hmm.
versus the normal community.
Yeah. Agreed.
uh, It's sort of like, you know, my phone for like 3 or 4 days. Are you okay?
Mhm.
We're at the other end of the, you know,
Yep.
other end of a free call if you need us. If you
Yeah.
need us to help you out, we're here. And I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you. It's meant so much.
Yeah.
So, as I say, they're all right there for each other. So it does, I think, we're bonded,
Mhm.
not by
Yeah.
horror, but you're all
Yeah.
bonded together, if that makes some sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know that mostly everybody in the community is genuine, but there are a couple of bad eggs that get in there, and there's a couple of filmmakers that try to, use the I guess the good hearts of a lot of the people in the community for their own personal advantage, with Indiegogo
Yes.
campaigns in particular. So, like, do you have any type of advice for people that would like to donate to Indiegogo campaigns, and kind of have like be at ease on who they're donating to and how to kind of
If
figure it out?
if I was, this is my advice, with
Okay.
no offense to Deborah, but I did my research on her, how genuine she was, how, I went on a couple of lives and I
Hmm.
just sat there in the background and got to know her. That makes any sense.
Yeah.
You get the feeling. It's sort of like, are they doing the
Hmm.
live because they want to break in the money and then they're going to stop doing the live?
Hmm.
It's, you've got to sit there and you've got to do your research.
Hmm.
If there are, it's like I will never PayPal. So I would always go to an Indiegogo because you've got a little bit more comeback
Hmm.
with Indiegogo than what you would do PayPal. I would never
Hmm.
go on a PayPal.
Hmm.
That to me, I'm sorry, no way. It's do your research
Yeah.
and see what ask the community is Joe. What's Joe blogs like?
Hmm.
If they're genuine, they won't mind you asking a couple of questions. If they're
Hmm.
not genuine and get, as we call it, RC here,
Hmm.
it's sort of like then there's obviously a problem in my eyes.
Hmm.
That's how I look at it. Just do
Absolutely.
your research, and
Hmm.
if there is a in your stomach,
Hmm.
there's go with that gut feeling because at the end of the day, there are a lot of people that have done nasty things
All right.
and it's not nice and they shouldn't be, and there should be sort of like, I think there should be like a list, a blacklist of
Hmm.
those who have not done well, done the indie horror well in my eyes,
Right.
because it brings down independent film and independent horror. Everyone
Hmm.
goes, what's an indie film? Oh my god, you're involved. And I think there should,
Right.
you do get the odd few that may
Yeah.
spoil it for everyone else. And as I say, when I do, look at campaigns or getting involved with stuff, I really do my research before, because it is your money you're giving, and
Yeah.
you sit there. How do they communicate on a daily basis? Do
Hmm.
they? And so,
Yep.
because at the end of the day, if they're only on their page once a month,
Yep.
you're sitting there. Excuse me, but you're asking for money. Why you
Mhm.
should be on there, even if it's an evening on a daily basis.
Mhm.
Oh, we bought props today. It's an update of where the money's going,
Yeah.
or stuff like that, or plans. I
Mhm.
think that it's important communication
Yeah.
with your audience and your backers and stuff like that. So
Absolutely.
that's what I say.
That's very good advice. So definitely, and if you don't know about the person or don't know where to start, you can reach out to like Kerry Yates or Jimmy Presley or Noelle Berger, people that are big, even myself, like people that are in the community that would be able to lead you in the right direction. And if they don't have like the proper answer for you, then they could recommend somebody for you to reach out to, because
Hmm.
like Carrie said, like this is your own money, so using your money, obviously you're working hard for your money, so you want to make sure that your money is going to be spent wisely and you're going to get what you're promised. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the last question I got for you, do you know, this is more personal, so I guess it's a two-part question. Which horror film or franchise got you your start into becoming a horror fan? And the second part is, what is your current favorite horror film or franchise?
Right, my first one, hang on, is it got me into it. It was more of a thriller. It was an escaped mental patient, not
Okay.
Michael Myers. It was done by Aaron, Aaron Spelling. It
Okay.
was about an escaped. If I can go on Google for a second,
Yep, go ahead.
hang on, I could go on Google and tell you. Hang on, 10
Sounds like a plan to
seconds.
me.
Aaron Spelling. Oh, hang on. it's yeah, yeah. Toy Spelling's dad. He did it in one of his very early films.
Okay.
We had I think it's something Desperate Women. Hang on. It's done in the 70s. We used to have late night television. It just started to come through, and I had a television in my room, and I was told after 11 o'clock, Kerry, do not switch it on. And it was like, you know, the sort of like, you sit there, go, shall I, shan't I? And it's sort of like calling you. And in the end, I turned around and I went, I sat there and I was like, oh, for God's sake, gone then. And it was this, I think it's called some Desperate Women, 8 Desperate Women or something.
Okay.
You tell me, I think it's 8, hang on. Sorry, unprepared. No, 5 Desperate Women, I think it's called. I know it's Desperate Women. 5. Yeah, well, anyway, they all go on a girly trip, and they end up on this so like island, and it turns out that one of the lighthouse keeper or the maintenance man is the escaped convict, and he ends up murdering them all. And it's sort of like it's Michael Myers-y,
Okay.
but it isn't. Yeah, 5 Desperate Women. It was in 1971. Sorry,
Nice.
so prepared. Not. It's actually on YouTube and it's just sort of like you sit there and it's he sort of like escapes, and then he pretend and at the end you sit there and you're guessing who is the killer, because you got the handyman and you got like the Coast Guard, or you know, and you're sitting there going, who is it, and she chooses wrong, obviously, and she's going up this mountain, and yeah, it's sort of like that. And then obviously my dad accidentally went to Clown House because my sister and my mum were going to see Snow White at the theatre, and my mum and that gave us a choice. I sat home and our snacks and video. She nearly said DVD, but it's video back then. And my dad turned around and he said, "Oh, well, I've rented this video from the video store." I went, "Oh, it's called Clown House." He thought it was Clowns in the House. He didn't read the back, typical bloke. And it ended up being sort of like these psycho clowns from outer space. And he went, and that's all I put you a horror for a while. And then I think the main franchise that really got me going is the Halloween franchise. But do you know, you start becoming a fan of it, and I think that it's a Halloween franchise. But yeah, I think it's a good old Michael Myers, you know, or Wallace. Yes, got a huge tattoo on my thigh, huge one. Had to be done. And I've got my thorny. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, that's awesome. When that one is 1978, it says.
Nice. That's awesome.
And then that is obviously when Rob Zombie brought him back to life. So yeah, and then got the thorn in the middle.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. So is that, I'm guessing that's your current favorite franchise too?
I do you know what? I don't really have a franchise. Do you know, you sit there and you flick?
Yeah.
You sit there, go, I fancy that tonight, or you know, it depends what mood you're in.
Yep.
It just seriously depends on what mood you're in. If you're in, it's like tonight, I think I'm watching Secret Santa because I fancy an anti-festive. So you get to that point where you sit there, you've done sort of like Frosty the Snowman, and you're like, actually, tonight, I want an adult, festive horror. So I must probably be Secret Santa, then followed by Black Christmas, the original. So that's probably my festive viewing for tonight. So
that sounds awesome. It really does. Well, I thank you so much, Kerry, for joining me.
Yeah, no worries. And thank you for having me on, and I'm honored. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm honored too. You have a great rest of your day.
I will do. I'm about to take the children out. Okay.
Well, you have fun.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.